What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're out here in the shop tonight, this afternoon, whatever it is. I'm finally getting around to cutting the band straps loose on this dozer blade skin here. I've had this stuff back for a while, and I just hadn't got around to it yet. So we're going to cut this stuff loose and see if we can get it up on the blade and see if it fits. They said they made the curve, the bend to the template I made, so we'll see. I had them add this on here at the top for some limb protection. I did not know that they were going to have to make this in 4 pieces originally. I thought they were going to be able to make it in 1 piece, or maybe have to cut it in half at the most. If I knew they were going to have to make it in 4 pieces, I probably wouldn't even bother having them make this top bend on here. I'd have just welded a 1 piece of flat bar across the top for some protection from sticks and whatnot. I had to make a few other things there as well, but we'll talk about that in another video or whatever when we get to that point. Right now, I just want to get see if we can get this skin tacked on here, and that way I can get started welding it out. So let's get this stuff cut loose, and we will see if it will fit. I might set you guys down over there, probably find some gloves, because these pieces here are probably about 85 to 90 pounds a piece, so it'll be a little bit difficult to get maneuvered in place. I'm hoping that it will set on this new cutting edge. I've already thrown the old ones away in the scrap pile, but I'm hoping there's enough lip right there that it'll set right there. If not, I'm going to have to tack weld something on there for it to sit on. So the reason that they had to make this in 4 pieces is because this is 3/8 inch thick ar400 plate. This is something that would go on like a d3c size dozer. The reason we went with that is it's what they had in stock. A 1/4 inch plate would work for this size dozer, but they didn't have any, and so 3/8 is what they had. Their roll is wide enough to bend it, but it's only rated to bend 9/16 of an inch mild steel. So this stuff here is about 3 times as hard, roughly, to bend and to work as regular mild steel plate. And so that's why we're using it. Is it's abrasive resistant, and it will last a whole lot longer than mild steel would. And it's, like I say, 3 times as hard to bend. And so even though their roll is rated to bend 9/16, it'll bend this stuff here, or it will bend thicker than 9/16 if you chop it up and make it a narrower section. I believe that roll is a 10-foot roll, so it's rated at 9/16, full 10-foot width. But as I say, this is what they had to do. He said that they tried to cut it in half and then do it, but they wound up having to cut it in 4 pieces. So that's the reason for that. It looks pretty decent right there to start with. Looks like it's going to set up there pretty decent as well. I don't know how the width is going to work out. I'm going to go ahead and set all 4 pieces up there to start with, just to kind of see what it looks like, and then we'll go from there. It may actually be easier to work with being tight 4 pieces. And we're going to leave a little gap in between them. That way we can put our weld in and be able to tie it into the original blade skin to have something to hold it. I was wondering if they made it in one piece, how I was exactly going to do that. And I was going to have to cut some holes in it and plug weld it or something other. Just a touch. That right there is off a little bit because the cutting edge is off a little bit. Alrighty. That's what it's going to look like after I get it all squared up there. So they got these B&A marks on there. The way that they did it, they didn't tell me anything about it. That's just what they went off of, I assume. I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of difference. But you can see right there the difference in the width on that cutting edge. It's got this one setting up higher. So I'm going to have to put some shims under this left side here or something to make it match up. We'll get it shimmed out right though. And then the back here, I'll have to trim, as you see there. And the curvature is maybe not perfect there, but that's because this blade, the skin, not 100% correct across the full width. See, we're closer over here. When I made the template, I kind of had to pick a happy medium. These blades will warp side to side. One side will be different than the other side. So that's fine. We'll make it work out somehow. Alright, so I'm going to use some of this banding material here and see if I can make a little shim for this to get it up a little better than it is there. We're pretty good over here. Just drop down right there. So this is not going to be quite as bad as I thought on this on these gaps, because somehow they worked out where I'm going to have a backing right there. I was wondering how that was going to work out. Being so there's a backing there, it'll be pretty easy to fill up. This one here, whoever built this top piece originally, kind of got something out of line here just a little bit. And that's the reason. The gap's in a little different spot, I suppose. The same right here to the end on my blade, but that's off just a touch. So I wonder if we swap one of these pieces. I don't know how they made this. If one of them may be slightly different than the other, or I know the blade is off because I found that out whenever I was, making my template. If we put one of these other pieces, swap the pieces in the middle and see if we get a better fit. I don't believe we are. I think that our blade is just that far off. All right guys, I'm gonna raise this blade up off the concrete floor. I think my cutting edges has moved a little bit because I had this blade sitting on top of my dad's trailer when I was working on it, and I don't have all the blade bolts in there, as you see, and the ones that's in there are not real tight. So I think the blade cutting edge has moved some, and that's part of what's going on, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to raise it up, and I'll be able to bump on the top of these plates with a hammer, should be able to, and see if I can get them lined up just a little bit better than what they are. This one piece right here in the center on the right side is kicked out just a little bit. That's because this blade, I didn't show it when I had the blade on the ground, but this blade is not perfectly straight this way. It is actually bowed out where they've pushed with the corners of the blade. In other words, the blade is bowed toward the back of the dozer on the corners. If you look down the top of this rail right here from the end, you can kind of see it this direction. I'll try to show it with the camera. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I'll try to show what I'm talking about. If you look down the top of that rail there, you can see that there's a curve in the center of that blade. It bows out, or the ends bow toward the dozer. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not, but anyway, so the blade is not perfect. So we're going to get some tacks on the bottom, and then I can kind of clamp and get this thing worked into place here. But everything is lined up pretty well. You know, that'd be a good place to weld. And I'm gonna trim this up here so it's not a square corner. I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do with it yet, but I gotta come in here and I'll cut this off, curve it around. We got a big gap right there. As I say, do something with. I may just have to weld it up. I mean, that's a pretty good little gap. But as I say, I knew this wasn't consistent. The original blade wasn't consistent, but the new skin is consistent and looks good. So this side over here was better. You know, this side here wasn't damaged very much, or not as much. We don't have near the gap here. Well, I'll set you guys up over here and we'll get a welding machine started up and see if we can get some tacks on this thing and get it pulled into place, and we'll start welding. You know what y'all let me forget? I got to have a gap between the cutting edge and the blade skin in order to put a weld right there. So I allowed for that whenever I made the template for the plates. So I should have room. I need to space it up about 1/4 inch. The only thing I have that's about 1/4 inch is some 1/4 inch bolts. So I'm going to pick each piece of the blade skin up and put 1/4 inch bolts under it. That looks more right. Sure all the gaps in. Good enough for me. All right. I believe we are ready to see if we can get some tacks on it now. We've got a clamp somewhere here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to clamp anything or not though. I'll be able to clamp the tops and pull them in a little bit. I'm going to push in on the bottom and get a tack on each corner, I suppose. And then put this up here on the top and pull in whatever I got to do, because I got just a little bit of a gap right here now where I didn't have before. But I've got to have room for my weld to go on the bottom. And what's funny is the two center ones are the same now. This end one's a little different than the other one down there. It's just the blade's not consistent from one end to the other, is basically what the deal is. I'll be finished welding this in a couple of days. Alright guys, I've got all the welding done. There may be a spot or two I need to touch up, but it looks pretty good. I'm going to wait till tomorrow, call it a night. Been out here a pretty good while doing this. And spray a little paint on the bottom of that blade there behind the cutting edge. And probably need to hit these welds here with a flat disc just to touch them up a little bit. I don't know if I ought to go ahead and grind them flat or not, but this here didn't come out too bad, all things considered. The gap that I had to fill up there, as you guys seen earlier, you could stick your finger in there. So anyway, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to cut this off, which angle. I think I'm going to take a torch and just kind of use the outside of the blade as a guide here and go at it like that, and then I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do here on this corner, how I'm going to do that. Alright guys, let's get this torch fired up, see how big a mess we can make out of this. I sure wish I had a plasma cutter, but I don't, so hopefully I can do this with a torch, and it'll probably take a lot of grinding because I don't have the most steadiest hand with a torch, especially up in an awkward position like this. We're going to see what's going to happen though. Alright, we got all our safety gear on here. The ground clamp, we don't need it no more. I don't know, that's going to be a little bit hard to stay steady there, but we're going to give her a shot. That didn't come out too bad. Do the other side now. I don't think that'd be too difficult to touch up with a grinder there. A 45, the top corner right there. Alright guys, all we'd like now is putting the cutting edges on. I touched those welds in the middle up with a grinder. I didn't get too carried away with it because, well, it's a dozer blade, you know, and I got tired of grinding, so that's the real reason. I gotta put a washer on there, I forgot about it. I ordered these plow bolts. They're just 5/8 by, I think they're 2" or something. Plow bolts off of eBay because they were cheaper than buying them from Tack. The cat bolts, I mean, they're more expensive, but these ply bolts are pretty much a universal thing across dozers and tractor cutting edges, that sort of stuff, plows, whatever. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and get all of them started, and that way I can get them all lined up together before I tighten any of them up. Touch that up with the grinder a little bit. I got the edge of the blade sticking over the cutting edge just a touch. It really don't matter though. Well, drop the bolt. it drop down just a little bit. I'm going to loosen it back up and bump it up, touch. Well, wasn't trying to. Just a touch. All right, guys, that's turned out quite well. I'm pretty impressed with it. I'll have to get some paint on that sometime or another. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. I still got some more stuff to do on this dozer before we can use it. I still haven't fixed the park brake solenoid. I have the stuff to fix it with, and I have this stuff here that is going on that dozer as well. So we'll talk about that in another video, and I'm gonna wrap this one up. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.